hold on, one more stitch, one more stitch. Oh, okay. Well, hello, my friends. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. And as you can see, this is not my regular tutorial. I just wanted to come on and just share. This is February, and here in the United States, we call it Black History Month. And we just go back and look at, just people and places and things. And I just wanted to share with you my part of Black history, then and maybe now. And let you see just some of the things that I remember in a good way. Not all of it wasn't always bad, but it's just nice to share that we have this moment in time, this month to share. And that's all I want to do. Well, how are you? I hope you're well. We're doing great. And as you can see, I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to knit something. I couldn't let you see it because it's a surprise. But I'm working fast and furious and on the project for my next tutorial. Hint, but it's a surprise. Okay, so what I want to share with you. Well, first of all, I want to share, and I'm going to share it in a simple way. I'm going to share it, of course, I was just a young child, for my then. I was still young in the 60s. I was just getting through high school, or hadn't quite got out of high school yet. And of course, everybody knows the most famous, civil rights leaders and people. And you're going to know this person that I'm going to call my then Black history hero. And he is still today, he stands for humanity. He stands for civil rights. He stands for those that don't have a voice. And I've never met him or anything like that, but when I do see him, it just reminds me, that there are people still living. A lot of our, heroes are dead, but there are some that are still living. And I just wanted to give a then hero thank you to Mr. John Lewis. Yes, he is one of Georgia's congressmen, Congressman John Lewis of Georgia. And the way I want to do it, I just thought was fascinating. Just because so many people I don't really look at a lot of things, old history things, too much like we used to, because but now it's so great because you have the YouTube, the internet. You can just go on the web and you can find out things and see old footage. So this is the way I'm going to do it. In the information, and I'm going to keep working while we're talking. In the notes under the video, I'm going to give you 3 videos. This one that I'm talking about, John Lewis, will be video number 1. So I would like you to go to video number 1 while I sit here and just wait a minute or two. Just go put me on pause, like I'm just messing with you. I wasn't on pause. Put me on pause and go over and just look at that video. It's just a few it's not even a minute. It's just a few seconds. I'm not trying to, I don't want to bring nothing down or be sad. I just want to just show you how much dedication one person could have. Not for herself, but for you and for me. So, I'll just sit here and knit, and I'll give you a second to go over and check out video number 1. Put me on pause. Okay, so now you're back. Well, wasn't that interesting? And so I was able to go and I found a nice little profile picture on him. I just pulled it up. It says, John Lewis's long fight for voters' right. Nearly 5 decades after Bloody Sunday in Selma, He's in the fight of his life as the Supreme Court threatens to overturn his signature achievement. It says Representative John Lewis, Democrat from Georgia, speaks on Capitol Hill in Washington. So, can you imagine? Tell me, would you still be in the fight if you had been in that spot, in the same place? Would you still really care about people? Would you really in your heart really could just push past that and just stay in the fight and want to help people of all hue and all color and all origins? You just want to help people. So, John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis from Georgia, is my then hero. Of course, he's still a hero today. Still in the fight. Man, thank you is just not good enough. Now, for the second video, video number 2. Now we're going to lighten it up a little bit. This is my Black History hero number 2 in the now. Okay. Just, I guess January, I think it was in January, Atlanta. Now, I don't live in the city of Atlanta or in the county of Fulton, so I don't get to vote for the mayor of Atlanta. Okay, I'm way out in the burbs, okay? But they voted for a beautiful young woman to be the 60th mayor of the city of Atlanta. And her name is Keisha Lance Bottoms. Now, I didn't know too much about her. I just would see little snippets of her on the news and here and there. Because, like I said, we're not involved in voting in Atlanta. But, you know, it's being the capital. It's the eye of Georgia. It's a forward-leaning city. It has brought many jobs and many high names and quality people and quality professions and quality jobs. And so naturally, you know, we wanted to see who they were going to pick as a mayor, to see if the city was going to keep leaning forward, which helps the state to keep leaning forward, and hopefully to keep the nation leaning forward. And she won. It was a nail biter, but she pulled it off, and she won. And then, I don't know, I guess through some of the pictures and all, you know, once she won, of course it was just something wonderful, because she's black, and she's she's the second woman to be mayor of Atlanta. But they also told some background story on her when you go and watch. So now, video number 2, I want you to go and watch it, and I'll be here when you get back. Take your time and just watch this one. This one is going to be an uplifter. You're going to be, if you're young, it's not going to mean much to you, just like civil rights don't mean much to you. But if you're older, you will remember this, and this is going to be fun and uplifting when you look at video number 2. I'll just keep knitting. I've got to get my tutorial. I'm working fast and furious. Just put me on pause again, you know. And then come back. I'm going to stop messing with you. See you back in just a minute. Okay, so you're back. Was that wonderful? Was that a step back in time? Did you enjoy that? Did it bring back memories in a good kind of way? I told you I wasn't going to keep it just down. I was going to try to uplift it too. Well, first of all, if you looked at the video number 2, the first thing you say, do you remember every day after school? I had just enough time, and most all my friends did too. We had just enough time to get home, because at 4 o'clock, what came on? Bandstand! Dick Clark's Bandstand. From the 60s all the way to, I don't know, did it go through the 70s? I can't remember. Yes, it did. I'm sure it did. every day, 4 o'clock. You got to get out of school. You got, for those that had, I didn't have to ride a bus. I lived close enough to the school. 4 o'clock, bandstand. And it would come on, and it was, it was just fun. It was just a program for teenagers. And I don't think Dick Clark gets enough credit. For instance, and the time, like I said, we're talking in the 60s. And it was before integration. And he took a stand against the grain. He took a stand and decided that he wanted the show not only to bring in black entertainers, but he wanted the audience to not just be all white. He's the one. He took a stand. Dick Clark. And I think people forget that. I think people forget that he took a stand against all the naysayers and big money people, and he said, no, we're going to bring everybody together. And that's what happened in later years, but it was a big step, and I don't think he gets enough credit. So he's part of this now hero, that he took a stand when he did. And of course, now he's gone, but he has a long legacy. But the person that I want to highlight is the entertainer that you saw singing the song. Does anybody remember? Can you remember that? I feel like I could just see it like it was just yesterday. Bandstand. And we couldn't wait to see who was going to perform, whether it was Smokey and the Miracles or Diana Ross, the Supremes that was on there. Everybody, every group, Martha and the Vandellas, everyone. Aretha. If you were in Motown or you were in that era, you had to be on Bandstand at one time, once Dick Clark made the decision to do the right thing. So the young man that you saw in the video, did you catch his name? His name was Major Lance. Major Lance? Major Lance is Keisha Lance Bottom's father. Say it again. Major Lance is Atlanta's new mayor, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Now, isn't that something? Can you imagine? And if you go in, and if you saw, I tried to put in clips of her so you can see her now. They had one clip of her as a little girl. I couldn't really see the resemblance. If you look now, you can see a little resemblance of him in her, but it is amazing. She's just well educated, a beautiful woman, bright, so intelligent. She decided, and they go into the story. He wound up in prison on drugs and all of that, and she tells, it has been reported in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, when she did background stories on her life. She remembers as a little girl going to see him in jail, and that's what put in her heart to stay in school, to go to school, to get a higher education, and she became a lawyer, and she's married to a lawyer, and now she's the mayor of the great city of Atlanta and the great state of Georgia with the great Congressman John Lewis. So, what do you think of that? Is that great or what? So, I wish her all the best. We're just hoping that she can do great things for the city, with the way the city of Atlanta goes, the way the state of Georgia will go, the way the people here will be able to receive good things in life and make a good mark in this nation. Well, now I've got one more. We'll just let me take a minute, and then I will be back and tell you about the last person I want to talk about. So, now, the last video that I want to share with you, well, is someone that's near and dear to my heart. And that is my son. I have two sons. My oldest son is Andy, and Damon is the youngest son. And yes, he's the one that put me on YouTube. And I just feel really blessed because I have two young men who have come up through the years, and they are part of the solution and never have been part of any problem. And I just feel really blessed. So Damon is the one that put me on YouTube. He's the one that came in one day. I think it was more to get rid of me or have me to stop bugging him, because remember, this is back before I had a computer. I had to get him to look up things on the YouTube or the internet, really, patterns and things. I didn't know about the YouTube that much. It was mainly to look at patterns. This was when Ravelry, like I said, I don't do anything on Ravelry, but I've been a member of Ravelry since when they only had maybe like 5,000 people. They were new. Case and them were just new. They were just getting people to join. And of course, I didn't have a computer, so I'd have to get him to look up patterns, and you'd have to look for hours and hours. And so one day he came home with a great idea. This is after he got me the computer, and I got on and started watching YouTube. He said, well, why don't I put you on YouTube? I said, okay. Because I had just finished redecorating my room, the very first episode. And I said, well, okay. So he got his camera and he showed me, how to do, and, you can see how nervous I was. This is way back, almost 5 years now. I can't believe it's been almost 5 years. And, but I walked through that video, and man, when I saw myself, it was supposed to be just one video. I saw myself, I think this is what I was born to do. Oh gosh. So next thing I know, I had number 2, and then I started thinking, well, what if I do one, number 3, number 4? So we're up to, I guess this is 82 or so, whatever. 5 years later. But this he's not a hero. He's not a civil rights hero per se, but he is part of I call it part of the solution to moving, to just move things forward, to help people. He's he inherited that from me. My other son's not so much. He's more quiet and very subdued. He's more like my husband. But Damon is just like me. We have personalities, big personalities, and we're very much hands-on and helpers. That's what we like to do. It just shines through. We can't help it. It's just something in us. So I want to tell you a little bit about him, and then I want you to go over and check out his little presentation. Well, first of all, like I said, he's a Georgia Tech graduate, graduated on the Dean's List. He has a full degree in mechanical engineering. Kind of keeping my list here. He has he works for a large company where he's a full-fledged engineer, and he's an entrepreneur in robotics. In fact, the day he graduated from Tech, his group had to catch a plane. He didn't even come home after the graduation. Went to the graduation down on the campus. We brought all of his caps and gowns and all his everything home with us. And he and his team, they had a robotic team that was going to California. So they left the graduation, boarded a plane, and went to California. And they participated in one of the, have you ever seen this show called Battle of the Robots? Or Robotic Battle Box. Battle Box, And, they didn't win or anything, but they did go out to represent Georgia Tech. So he loves robotics, but he's a mechanical engineer. And he's an entrepreneur in robotics, and he built quite a few robots to do different things. One time, even our local police have used his robots. I remember one day something had happened. Somebody had tried to rob something, and he had been working with them back and forth. He doesn't have a huge robot. He has more of he was building more smaller robots that got into smaller places. And they had to come and ask him to come and bring his robot and come and, he was not in harm's way. He just just work the robot, but they didn't. He was not in harm's way. The police did what they had to do, and I think they caught the suspect. So he's in robotics, all right. He also gives robotic presentations to groups, especially being an alumni of Georgia Tech. He's given presentations there with, new robotic students, people who are just getting into it to just kind of see, want to know some of the, some of the ideas he has and want to hear what he has to share. So that works out really well. And that'll be on, I believe, on his presentation. But then he loves music. When I first started, he was going to do my music, but then it just, I started making them faster than he had time. Like I say, he's a full-time engineer, full-time job. So he couldn't make the music, and, I had to just get music from other places. But he is a music engineer at church. He's very big in that. He's really involved at church, very involved. He's like I say, he does the music. He also works with youth and tries to teach them robotics. He worked with different school systems for years, bringing robotics after school like programs on a high end. Now we're not talking about somebody who's just sitting there, making little silly things and like babysitting. No, this was high end robotics where he would go into the school system, and the young people who would who wanted to learn more about robotics, he would take them from the start to finish, where they would even end up competing downtown Atlanta. They would compete in the big, in a robotic competition between schools. That's what I want to say. So that was one thing, and then he is also a Christian DJ. And I hope he'll put some of that in the presentation. He DJs Christian music. He has a Christian YouTube channel and it's called More Rich Media. And he just loves to share. He just loves to share music, and he loves just doing anything he can to help or to uplift. And last but not least, of course, he's my son. So the reason I'm putting his presentation on here, because, the new thing now with YouTube, everybody's onto it, and everybody's found out now that YouTube is changing, they're changing the amount of subscribers and views that you have to have in order to to keep your YouTube going. And I just feel like that I told him, I said, well, let me share some things with my friends on the YouTube and ask them to subscribe. Go over the last video, look at the presentation, and I'm asking you to please subscribe to his YouTube channel so that he can not only stay on and keep uplifting and helping, but of course that helps me. Of course he's going to be able to help me stay on too. And I just think, I just think the world of him, and I'm so happy that he takes the time to edit and do my video. Now I do all the work. I do the work and put all everything together, and you see all my samples. That's all me, pictures, everything. All I do is give him the little card out of the camera, and then he puts things in order and adds the music and any kind of, text that I need him to add on the video. So I'm so proud and I'm so happy, and I'm asking you to please go over and check my son Damon's presentation, and to please subscribe to his YouTube channel. And with that, I thank you so much, and I'm excited. And of course, I'll see you soon with our next tutorial. So this is Jay. This is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Sending out a big thank you, and thank you for letting me share Black History Month with you. See ya.
Hey, what's up? It's DJ DVP of Moral Rich Media, and I just want to send a big thank you to you guys for supporting my mom all these years on her channel. It means a lot to us that you can enjoy her creativity that she's doing, allowing her to express herself. Also, I have a YouTube channel, Moral Rich Media, where I do like independent short films, music videos, how-to videos, and other creative pursuits. If you could do me a great favor and stop by over there and check out a few videos and possibly subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. It'll keep me in a position where I can continue to help my mom create great videos for you guys. So thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in the future. Peace.